I don't know. I like the shirt. I like that shirt. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, what's going on? On another episode, our prime time with Ride Time, talking about 11 X-Ray. So, tell us a little bit about 11 X-Ray.
Well, let me tell you. I had a phone call. I had to dismiss it.
That's fine.
What we're talking about today is 11 X-Ray Infantry World. Listen, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about mechanical. We talked about medical jobs. We thought we would talk about some combat arms jobs. And that's the number one right now. Infantry, okay? And what 11 X-Rays breaks down to is different options. It breaks down into infantrymen and then mortarmen. So they're basically kind of the same. It's just one is certified and qualified to shoot mortars. It's kind of the biggest difference. So that's what we're going into today. If you're interested in doing some cool stuff, jumping out of planes, kicking indoors, that's what today's about.
Ranger School, Airborne Air Assault, going into some special operations, special forces missions, sniper school, things like that. The infantry is the feeder program to all of those things, right? So if you want to do something more exciting than just being a base infantryman, a base mortarman, that's where you start, and then you feed into those other ones. So, the infantry is the primary fighting force that we have. All right. We started out. I mean, they didn't have MOSs way back in the Revolutionary War, but we started out with the infantrymen, right? And a little bit of sort of the history behind that. The infantry, they actually have a rifle on their chest, and that was the rifle that they used. So if you just kind of want to dig into a little bit of the history in order to learn about them, that's what I'm a history buff, so I'll tell you all about the history behind it. But it's definitely really interesting.
There's a lot of pride there. I mean, the infantry was established before the country was established. I mean, if you really dig deep, like you're saying. But let's get into it, okay? I'm pretty sure you all didn't tune in for history. You tune in to know what bad stuff, I don't want to cuss, is going to come with it. Listen, everyone's kind of always asking, basic training. We're recruiters. We're here to give you the information. I'm scared of this, scared of that. Listen, don't let fear hold you back, because you're going to do some great things in the infantry. You're going to work with some great individuals, make brotherhood, sisterhood. You're going to be kicking indoors, as you said. It's the feeder MOS. So in your initial contract, your very first contract in writing, you get to do a lot of fun stuff as that option. You can go directly to school as an infantryman, which counts as college credits if you don't know, because it's leadership and management, which is business management, okay? And directly from that, you can choose to go ranger option. You can choose to jump out of airplanes. You can choose to go air assault missions out of like helicopters, load missions, things like that, and go, if your long-term goal is to do some really, really bad stuff, you filter into special forces. Now, you can compare, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got to look at it into what is your goal. If you're one of those individuals that's wanting to do some cool stuff, okay, travel the world, do some great training like skiing training in a combat environment, sniper school, as he just said. But if you really think about it compared to other branches, every branch has an elite force. Navy SEALs, Air Force PJs, Marines, the recon. But the Army has more than one. Okay, so you have Ranger, you have Special Forces, we have Delta Forces, which is like the elite of the elite. We have the most of those things, and it's not in the sense of, some people might look at it in a bad perception, but it's more about what you can accomplish if you like to challenge yourself physically, especially, and then also leadership-wise. You're going to have to train and develop others. You're going to have to put people over yourself because it's a team effort. And that's kind of a basic breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a squad, of however many people that you're in with, let's say 7, right? And each individual person in that squad relies on you, whether that's, getting them over a wall, helping them through a next obstacle or something like that. You are there as a team to just overcome whatever obstacle comes in front of you. And we've talked about many Medal of Honor recipients. Most of those guys were
all infantry.
And that's what it boils down to. All right, you will make a difference.
Some of the biggest leaders in the United States military alone started in infantry. Your generals all were officer infantrymen. So
sergeant majors of the army, all infantry.
The big bucks job, making a lot of good money. Yeah. They all start there, and everyone has to start somewhere. Okay. And my biggest thing, we always get the comments of, I'm afraid of basic, or I'm afraid of this. You can't justify your life with fear. Even in a civilian world, not even military related, if you're scared, you won't be able to challenge yourself and push yourself to that next level, whether it's education, physical, mental, or just job training in a whole. So that is an outstanding position if you like challenges, not because it's super hard, but it is difficult, but it's also because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if you're a hot shot, it doesn't matter because your team member might not be. It's your job to get them there. Yes. You're going to do great training like Doom Buggy training. You're going to learn how to drive Doom Buggies and execute in a combat mission environment. Skiing, as we talked about. Sniper training in the sense of being quiet, noise discipline, light discipline, sleep discipline, hunger discipline. All these great trainings that is going to teach you for survivability that you can apply to the outside world for a lot of different jobs. These jobs also filter in to the outside world as well. A lot of people think infantry doesn't, but they do. If you're thinking of going, law enforcement, if you're thinking about Secret Service, FBI, CIA, NSA, those jobs will look at what you did in your military career. Of course, there's, like we talked about 1,000 times, veterans preference. Your first choice because you've been on the front lines. You have the training. You have the discipline. Infantry provides that. And there is an extreme amount of pride. If you want to be doing something that you're proud of, let's say 10 years from now, this is something to look into. And not in the sense of being scared or, I'm going to deploy or, guns, that of course is an option. But it's a lot more than that. Okay. It's about family environment. It's about training, becoming better than what you are. And that's what the infantry's motto is. But if you really think about it, the main purpose of the infantry is to help others, provide relief, support, freedom. They're the main force that gives all Americans freedom.
Yep.
That's what starts it, and that's what will continue to defend it. And you'll be part of that legacy 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. Infantry is a very crucial part. They support the Army entirely as we support them entirely, whether it's aviation mechanic, anti-missile mechanics. We have to support them with the missions that they need to give us freedom. That's basically the overall rundown, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just an outstanding, the Army is an outstanding organization to be a part of.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter like your specific, like political beliefs or anything like that, because people in the Army come from all different walks of life.
Doesn't matter.
We are meant for your freedoms to think the way that you want to think, to practice religion the way that you want to practice religion, or not practice religion. That's your freedom. And that is what the Army is all about, is for your freedom. Be
who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Of course, legally, morally, and, not saying be a criminal, but the freedom's there for you.
Yes. So be a part of the team that helps make that possible for the United States. All right. Less than 1% of Americans have ever undertaken the incredible responsibility that comes with being a United States Army soldier. But it is there. We are here to help you on that path, to get you those tools in your tool belt that you need to succeed in life. All right. Take matters into your own hand. All right.
And of course, when you look at the combat arms in the Army as a whole, it's only 25% of the jobs that we even offer. Out of 150, there's only 25% of that is combat arms. Now, 11 X-ray, again, we talked about, it filters between 11 Bravo, which is just straight infantrymen, and 11, Charlie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
11
is
Bravo, Charlie.
Mortar men. So you carry mortars and do different missions that is the same as infantry. Soon we're going to be having one of our fellow recruiters who is actually 11 Bravo come on the show, and he's going to kind of talk about what he does. So stay tuned in for that. But this is one of those great MOSs that will allow you to do an amazing traveling, amazing training, do things that not everyone in the Army gets to do. Like I said, they'll fly to countries or states that have a lot of snow, Alaska, things like that, to do snow training, snow survivability. So you go skiing down mountains, discuss combat operations within the snow environment, or jungle warfare. A lot of cool stuff.
Hawaii was big into the jungle warfare
stuff.
Yeah. And jungle survival training. I mean, you name it. It was just outstanding.
And those are one of those things that will allow you to do that. And that's one of the main MOSs that will help you with that. A lot of people come to us and say, hey, I want to be infantry and a ranger one day. Well, we call that in our world option 40, which means we ensure in your contract for your first 3 years in the Army, you can either get out after that or continue on. It's up to you, that you will be trained as an infantryman. You'll be trained as airborne, which means you get to jump out of planes and do, skydiving basically in civilian terms, airborne operations. And then after that, you can go to ranger school. And that's kind of like your first year in the Army. So if you only have 2 years left, if you do a 3-year contract, you work a little bit, get some training. The final year you're out, that takes time. You're going to be getting out of the Army. The Army gives you a chance to find a job. They're not going to set you up for failure. So that means your first year's training, you work for a year. The third year, you're getting out. That is your contract.
Do all your separation classes where they do like What are some of the classes?
So like they're going to teach you how to build resumes. That final year,
resume building, finance classes. There's like a
job fairs.
job fair, job corps sort of a thing that goes on where they can help. Like all the programs that we've talked about before, your troops to teachers, all that other good stuff. Those are the places where you'd actually be able to utilize those programs that you have to find yourself a job on the outside. And if there's a class associated with it, you can go to that class as well.
Yeah.
So our troops to teachers, our troops to truckers, you'll be able to do like your CDL class. You'll be able to get your teaching certificates. Find a school that you're going to be teaching at. That is your final year. You're not even really doing anything for the Army. It's all out process.
And that's just evidence of how does infantryman apply to the civilian world. You can get all these programs, do all these different, whether it's teaching, truckers, law enforcement, as an infantryman. A lot of people think, oh, if I do this, I'm not going to be able to do anything as civilian. That's false.
Yeah.
So how it works, let's break it down again one last time for you to understand. You do a 3-year contract. Your first year is all training. Your second year is just working, doing field ops, those things. Your third year is getting out of the Army. The Army gives you a year, actually 18 months, correct?
18 months, yeah.
So 18 months to get out, which means the last 6 months you can take leave, which means you have 6 months free. Basically, you're getting paid to find a job. So your transition is easier. You're not just say, okay, good luck. You have 6 months getting paid by the Army while being back home or wherever you want to end up to find a job. That's it. Either you can get out after 3 years with your free college and all those amazing benefits, or you can continue on your career. But the best thing to understand is when people hear 3-4 years, it's not so much what you might think. And that's why I want to discuss breaking it down. There's a lot of great places that infantrymen can go to be like PCS or move to. Hawaii, you have New York, you have Florida, you have Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Washington, and of course overseas, Germany, Japan, Italy is a big one. So if you're kind of like, hey, I want to get out of Bend, which is where you are, Central Oregon, or you want to travel for sure on the government's dime, or the Army's dime, not your dime, then this is something to highly look into. If you're like, I want to live 2 years in Italy, maybe go jump out of airplanes for 2 years and then move on to back home or another country. And if you've ever been to Europe, everything's right next to each other.
Yeah. You take like a weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
You go from like Germany to like Italy, France, anything like that.
Greece, Poland.
England. You can even take a train or something like, because I think it goes under the water. You can take a trip over to England. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, so I'd probably do that if I were in Germany. Because
I know when I was in Germany, it was a 2-hour train ride to Paris from where I was at. So the point is if you want to do something amazing like that, be part of something else, get some great training, travel the world, infantry or 11 X-ray, 11 Bravo, outstanding MOS for that. The biggest thing is don't allow fear to hold you back, because it is a different era. Obviously, this isn't Vietnam or any of that kind of stuff.
Well, this isn't the American Revolution where we're fighting for the basic freedoms that we use every single day right now. It's not something that's in the front of our minds.
So if you have more questions, you can always comment. We'll respond to them. If you're not located in Central Oregon, or you're just watching from a different state, or you're curious, we can help reach out to a local recruiter in your area. We'll help you find that person. That's our job. Let us work. Let us do our thing. We're still here for you. We're still working. And of course, there's $40,000 in signing bonuses, like always. So this isn't a great MOS to look into and further research. You can watch more videos on YouTube about different training and what it looks like if you're really curious. But again, everyone's experience is different. For me, that might not be hard, but for you, that might be hard. If that's kind of how I'm explaining it, right?
And the Army isn't designed to
make you fail.
They are there to make you succeed. They give you more than one chance to pass something, whether it's a test, whatever. They they push you, right? You have leaders, you have mentors that will be there throughout your military career, who will be there right by your side, who are going to push you to be better than what you currently are.
Or friends.
Or even friends, right? Because right now we work in the same recruiting office. We're what's considered a detailed recruiter. So we were put on a detail to come recruit. So him and I are in the same peer group essentially, and we push each other to be better than we are.
Yeah, do stuff that's new. Try new things. Don't let fear hold you back.
We are coming up on about 15 minutes, so I think we're gonna try to cut it off here shortly. We are still open for business, though. I know I've gotten several phone calls and text messages over the past couple days.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching our videos. Thank you guys for reaching out to us and allowing us to answer those questions for you.
Yeah.
Look forward to hearing from more of you guys out there.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and don't be scared.
All right. There we go. End.